Hey guys, cheers, it's the Tin Man. I thought I'd go live for a few minutes here. I've got, I got trouble stirring in my head. I have been for a while. I've been really dealing with it all alone, trying to figure it out. And I understand how I came across the language of these forest beings and how they work in our world on a level that nobody else is talking about. And if you understand that at all, that's a concern to me, because I know these guys are onto me. All the weird things that are going on, like in California there, I was watching this one show, and it actually looks like somebody's running around lighting the houses on fire and hardly even bothering with the forest. So here somehow a bunch of houses are getting lit on fire and not a lot of percentage of forest. To me, that's really bizarre. To me, it's like somebody is setting the houses on fire. And if we think about it, our government doesn't, or your American government doesn't get out of hand and start killing a whole bunch of rioters or doing stupid things. So what the heck do you think they're going to be running around out there actually lighting all these houses on fire? There's much easier ways for them just to make a disaster to cause issues. But anyways, so here I deal day in and day out on a subject level by myself. I've got a number of viewers that get certain levels, I can tell, and it's very appreciated. But when I'm a person just standing here walking around, I'm going into my doctor's again, and I'm supposed to be talking about my workers' compensation injuries. That my case is open. It's been over 5 years now, and workers' compensation won't make things proper. However, they're supposed to take care of their, their insured human workers. So I come to the doctors to talk about that, and I tell you, man, I sleep major amount of hours because of my injury. Major amount. I sleep more than the average human, the average person, and it's not because I want to. Rather be doing a lot more constructive things, honestly. Anyways, so having said that, here I am going into my doctor's here pretty quick, and all I'm doing is thinking about my subject. My subject right here. And this is the key word, guys. Tracker. I'm not a clown. I'm not pretending that I track them. I'm not pretending it. I talk about it on the channel. If you don't walk beside me, you don't get the unbelievable eye-opening information. Unbelievable. So, because I can track them and stuff, and I know they mimic, and I know they fool, and I know they're mischievous, and I know they're, what do you call it, the words slip my mind, but opportunists. So now everybody's scared to get out of the fire area, so everybody's leaving. There's a great opportunity for supposedly thieves to go in there. A great opportunity for fire starters to keep running around setting whatever they feel like on fire. I've talked about these beings 2 years ago, plus now probably, that I figured they had a heat source. I talked about that they might have that heat source built into them. I talked about how I found stuff that didn't make sense to be burnt. I found stuff where it almost seemed like the charcoal was a necessity for them. I seen wood that has been bent in such ways that I always felt it was a heat process that helps, because that's how we also bend our wood in. That's what I stated way back there, is with steam, heat, blah, blah, blah. Wood, live tree has water in it, so then heat, and then you know, you can figure that out yourself. It would be a big, because that's what people do, they soak their wood, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, and it's not like I'm just trying to create a story. Like, I almost have the best comic book story in the world, if you really studied into my channel. It's just, it sounds so make-believe, foolish, weird. But if you really study a human being, you more, other than just being a little bit bizarre on this subject, once in a while I talk about my kids. I popped pictures in of my kids, a photo one time. You can tell they're just normal people looking at a normal dad most of the time, other than this story. So yeah, I'm as normal as they come. Do I have peculiarness? So do you. You know, do you guys, you have something weird too that you do in the bathroom, that you do out in public, you know, whatever. We're just all these billions of different human brains working, personalities and all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, I don't need to be yakking, I got to get in for my appointment. But seriously, just go and look at a couple of those images. I don't know if it'll be on the news, because they might give you the kind of images that I'm not referring to. But I watched on some guy's video of a whole bunch of houses looking like they were target being burned. Any of the fires that have been going on in the last 2 years right away come into my mind with these guys. I know how they fool me every night. The amount of numbers that, if you go out in the night now, just sit someplace for a couple of hours and don't make any noise, and start just listening and go to the same place over and over. Their curiosity will just, it'll kill them, and they'll want to know what's going on. So they'll come closer. You get to see a lot of base ground shadow changing, a lot of dark color. I talk about these beings climbing to the top of these trees and monkeying with them at the very top. That means that's something very slow. I mean small, because there's not a lot of message that tells me that the tree has been bent, then played with, and then released back up, because there would be a certain statement in that gets left behind once in a while. Different trees, different things, and I don't find that. I find that whoever's getting up there is really well at getting up there, and seemingly small. And I've seen some small things out here on the road. I've seen a number of small things. I one day seen a small thing that kind of almost resembled a lizard running on his hind legs. He was black, and I don't know how many feet I got him for, but I caught him for a few feet, just finishing a run across the road. You know, and his arms were up kind of like he was running like this. Seemed like there was a whole tail body kind of thing going, but small, you know. So yeah, going into my doctor, because, you know, I know the language of all these trees with this moss. I've been watching this. I know this tree here was covered in moss also like that. I know nobody's come along and cleaned it out. You know, I know a number of the different trees in my 2 years of study almost pop out 2 different kinds of buds, 2 different kinds of growth cycles that they're trying to pop into or get into or something. Right now in this cold of winter, you can go up to certain trees and you can see the tree growing still and stuff. A lot of our trees are still growing in height. You look at the trees that all the leaves are gone or whatever, they are still growing. You come back and you look up at the top of them and stuff. These guys have to stay on top of pruning the new leaves that are coming out for their camouflage, I guess. That's the only reason why I figured they have to do that. But you just keep watching. New leaves are growing all the time and stuff. New sprouts. And you know, even when we're starting to go frozen. So, you know, all that fire stuff anyways, it's just gotten me really concerned. You know, when I get concerned is when I start flapping my gums a lot. And yeah, I don't know. Peace out, Tinman. Thanks for whoever was saying and messages, all that kind of stuff. Appreciate all the support and guys, the thumbs up. You know, it's just a real story. Go to my first face-to-face experience and you'll see my first interaction. Go to my baboon-headed guy. You'll see why I'm scared. Go to the one where I have a vocal, live, aggressive attack towards me. You'll find out also why I'm concerned. And then there's lots of other things in my whole portfolio of information, and people are starting to learn about it. People are starting to figure out some stuff, so that's good, and it's on my channel. That's how you get to learn about it. Thanks for the support and thumbs up and all kind of stuff, guys. Peace out.